sharing with you how I started businesses and what has been the ups and downs in business. So, if you're just joining the live, I hope that the live is going to be helpful to you, helpful to someone else, helpful for you to share to any other persons, someone that who want to need a little motivation, and even someone who is just getting into the business field and looking for the experience to know what they're about to expect. So if you're joining the live, my first point here is that you should subscribe to the channel, also like, and also share. So this morning I'm going to be sharing with you some important tips that you may need to know as a new coming business person. So firstly, I'm going to start with how I actually started off business and how the goal has been giving me the motivation to push and do other businesses and start opening several different businesses. Okay, so firstly, I started with just coming out from school. I haven't had the full requirements for graduation, so I didn't get a chance to graduate from high school, but I did from primary school. But I did walk off with like 3 CXA subjects. So this is actually a minimal low subject that I actually walked off with. But then as I started doing businesses and accepting and understanding how work goes, I recognized that in this country here, having the A levels, it's really basically necessary in some form. And also, if you actually has an experience or you have a good knowledge of doing things, then you really more need skills rather than actual subjects. So as I started, just finished off from school, I decided that I'm going to hit the world and see what work has for me, what type of work I want to get myself into. And this was a mistake that I made because ever since if I had in my head like what I actually wanted to do within my school days or what job I wanted to push myself into, I would have had a bit of knowledge of knowing how to go about doing my education and taking my education on a different level. So I didn't have that point as yet. I didn't think in that direction. So I was just going to school, looking to come out with some A levels, studying hard, and all of that. And sometimes I kind of waste time. So from school, this was my first mistake. I didn't have any focus point for myself. I didn't even think of something that I think I should be doing when I finish school in an area that I'm going to be loved to working in. So I just went to the school period and I decided I'm going to hit it off. So as I came out from school, then I started looking for a job. And this is I mentioned in my other videos that when looking for a job coming out from school, what I recommend is that you try gaining some experience in some form because that's what most of the business places actually looks for. They look for experienced persons. They won't actually take you in as an intern and do it like this in our country, but there was a program in our country that actually allowed that to happen. But other than that, if you're just living school in the Caribbean country of Grenada and you're looking to come here to do some job or to do some schooling, um, it's not that hard. It's not a hard place to live in. It's a little bit quite easier. It's a very wonderful place. But if you're looking to get into school and you're looking to do a business as you finish school, then the first recommendation I would say is that you start from giving your child or even giving yourself, even if you're doing a college or you're doing a university, giving yourself a field that you actually love working in and a field that you want to see yourself going forward with. So that was, I said, that was my main problem. So as I started finishing my school, did go off to experience the graduation. I didn't got the graduation. I didn't graduate. Well, we're there to actually just view it. Then I actually headed out looking for work. And as I said, the experience field was under or beyond my control. I had no experience. So it was really hard getting a work without the experience, even if I had the subject, even if I had a good level of grade in the subject. So I had like, I was looking for something in the agriculture field, like being an extension officer. That was my goal from even out from school in the agriculture field, having a grade 2 in that field. So I decided I'm going to do extension officer, but then it comes back with the experience. So after this multiple tries with different things like trying different places because I could not have get the extension officer field going. So I decided to try different places like going to different establishments to try getting work, but all were requiring the same one goal experience, which I didn't have. So this had forced me, even if I had good A levels for the subject, this had actually forced me to do my first job as a construction worker. So I didn't start it with business. I never had the intention for business because I hadn't had a steady goal in my head from since I was actually going to school. That was never the cause. I never had to think about what I really wanted to do with my life. So I continued going on, and I decided, well, I'm going to take what I get until I get what I want. So this is the one mistake I actually make. And if you're looking under this live, this is a very helpful live. So you should like, subscribe, and also continue following. And I'm going to be sharing with you more experiences that you don't make the same mistake I make, and you may even be in a better position than I am. So as I continue going, I started out with my construction. Um, it wasn't that great because I even had any experience also, but that's the only job that's going to actually hire you in this country if you doesn't have any experience. So you can work as a helper, and your work is going to just be to mix concrete, drug blocks, um, pass any utensils and different tools that the main workers are going to need. And it's a very, very tiring job. It's a hard job. So if you doesn't like the job, you will have to actually learn the trade and start being a professional construction. So I didn't have that experience. I didn't have no knowledge of it. So I was just working as a helper for now. And as I continued going, I decided, well, I start seeing that the construction part of it is not really my kind of a thing. I didn't cut out for the construction. Even though I had a little experience from home with my father working on the home when we were actually doing wall, I have gained a little experience of how the construction field actually works. So I actually get the understanding of how construction works. And then I decided, well, it's not a job that I want to see myself doing for the rest of my life. And by then, the helper salary was like $60 per helper per day, and this was like actually not cutting. So construction work is actually on the wild in this country. You can get a construction work anywhere as long as you can do the work, and as long as you have a very good reputation going with works, then you're gonna get jobs. It's not really hard. And even if I want a construction work right now, I can actually get a construction work right now. So it's not something that requires any level of education or any level of subjects. It's just something that you're gonna get into, and if you want to go hard with it, then you actually learn the trade. So from then, as I went to the construction field, as I said, the construction field was not actually something that I want to finish my life with. Even though I didn't have a plan for my life at that time, I didn't want to actually finish with construction. So what I decided to do, I decided to head to a program, which I heard were actually launching. It was an Imani program, so I brought my subject in, I brought my necessary details, and I head straight to the constituency office that runs in my area. And I decided, well, I'm going to hit the whatsoever that is on the paper. There was a list of people, sorry, a paper with a list of different not businesses, different um, establishments that you may want to work in. So I decided, well, I'm going to apply for one that actually I will like. From there, I started seeing that the better and the more you do things that you like, it actually gives you the push to continue doing what you do. So that was the start. From it going down, I recognized that I had choose the area of farming because I actually had my subject there. So I was looking to get still into the extension officer field. So I saw that as an opportunity for me. So I decided I'm going to work upon it. So as I entered into the program was for at least 2 years. But what had happened during my first year of the program, I worked as a farmer. I worked in the field. I worked on the doing plantains, figs, and other stuffs. So that's where I started working, and then we started doing a little bit of short cropping. So I started getting a little mix advices and a little bit of mixed knowledge about farming and how it actually works. So from then, I was actually branched over to another program in the same year. So they hit me over to another program that I just launched. It was like the empowerment program for men, and from then I had to choose back another career. But because I was actually into the agriculture field and I wanted to go hard and see if I can get to be an extension officer, I decided to remain there. So I stayed there and I worked for at least 1 year, and then we went up to 2 year. And after going through the whole 2 year course, into the program, we were actually deciding to get at least $1,200 that's going to actually start a small business as we finish the program. Because the government was actually saying that they don't want, as the making employment for the youths, they don't want the youth to go back to the streets. They don't want the youths actually go back and do maybe what's not actually right. So this was something that the government was actually looking into at that time, and they were actually going hard with it. So from there, we had an opportunity to choose whatsoever business we would want to start after completing the program, getting at least $1,200 to start at. So that's where I actually started my nursery. From starting my nursery, I didn't have any knowledge, as I said. I didn't have any plan for my life, which is very important for anybody who want to do business or want to do whatever you want to do in life. You should have a plan from the start, what you want to do, what direction you want to go in. You should see life as like your dinner or your meal or your breakfast, something that you want to eat when you get in the morning. And if you want to make that thing with love and eat that and you enjoy it. So that was my main problem. But as I started into the field, I didn't have a tent. I didn't have um, a very good covering, so I had to make that. So how I started with the nursery section, the nursery section started in my veranda home. So I actually had gotten my trays. I have gotten like 100 trays. I bought 4 bags of soil. I got some seeds, some main seeds that I know grow in our country that's actually on demand, like lettuce, cabbages, tomatoes, and pork chops. So that was my main demand starting up. And from then, I started branching over to doing other things like seasoning peppers, salad peppers, beetroots, melon germs, and a lot of different types of celeries, parsleys. So I started going bigger. So what had actually happened based on my previous experience through the training I actually got, I have were actually recommended to be a part of getting the nursery. So it was like within 4 to 5 months, I had stocked up my first piece of nursery, got a few pieces of um, PVCs, and I decided, well, I'm gonna start something. And as I actually started that something, it lasted for at least 4 months. I was actually using damp-proof plastic bags, so it was not really the good plastic bag that's gonna last for at least years upon years. It was something that gonna last for at least maybe 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, and then it's gonna go. But actually, where I was living, it was actually bare sun. It was actually bare sun and humid at the same time. So the plastic bag didn't actually reach a month. It didn't actually reach a month. So it used to reach like, if it reached a month, the first one I bought, it reached like, I could say roughly a month and a half. And the second one reached like 2 months. So I could say every other 2 months, I had to actually replace the plastic bag. So it was actually taking a little bit from me as I continued going and going and going. So what had happened, based on my previous discipline into the program, I will recommend it to actually collect a tent. I wasn't sure if I was going to get a tent, but I will actually nominate it to be present to see if I can actually receive a tent. So the persons that came to my yard, they actually measured the place. Um, my parliamentary representative were actually there. So they actually came and make sure that the place was actually enough to make sure that he gave me the tent so that it can fit on the piece of land. So yes, it did fit. I did enter the ceremony. We actually had got to the tent. From there, I started. So from there starting, that's where I actually see life differently. That's where I actually see business differently, and I see how far business can actually take you. And then I decided, well, I'm going to start another business, and then I continue starting businesses from there. So my second business that I actually started, I decided to get into the seasonings and doing bottle seasoning. So I guess decided to get into that because I'm doing gardening and it's already planting. So I really have a very good knowledge of planting. So I decided I'm going to grow some big times, grow all my seasonings, and I'm going to start my business from doing my local seasonings. And as I started it, it actually picked up very good. It's really going okay. I can't complain. And from there, I started seeing other ways that I can open other businesses. Which I actually had did my last one, which was a small restaurant. So I'm gonna actually be doing that back. I'm just looking for a place right now to relocate. So as I relocate, I'm gonna be showing you where I relocate, and it's gonna be a very much better place. And that's why I don't want other persons to make the same mistake I made. So if you want to start a business, you want to start a business and sit down and do a proper planning, so that in case that certain things that you may be making a mistake with, it may be something like minor. So my mistake there was a minor mistake. It wasn't any big mistake. The place we actually had was a very good venue. It wasn't anyway bad. It was somewhere very good. So as we actually relocating, I'm still looking for somewhere better right now. So we're gonna go to the town side right now. So we're looking for a place in the town side where all the market really are all there, and we're gonna be doing things that we don't actually see when we visit to St. John's. So on a nutshell, it has been, I could say, a pretty hard ride for me because I didn't start it with any plan. But now, as I see in the plan coming on, I have seen ways that I can actually go out there and go very hard and meet different persons, gain different experience, collaborate with different persons, ask questions, find yourself, place yourself in places that you can actually learn something, watch a lot of educational programs, try getting a lot of experience in different ways, do a lot of research. This is going to actually help you to bring out your business inside. Okay, so this is what I have to share today. And if for everyone out there who is actually doing business, whether not business, or you're doing a job, you're doing work, you're working for someone, I would actually recommend that you continue doing what you're doing. Give it your best shot. That's what I should actually mention in most of my videos. Give it your best shot and do what you love. So you're gonna give it your best shot, and by then, when you see the progress, when you see you continue and you're going forward, then you're gonna think that if you can actually handle another piece of business, or if you want to move a different way, or if you're satisfied with what you're doing, or you just want to expand it bigger. And for those who are working, if you doesn't have a business and you're working, my advice for you is actually try to actually pick up some more um, nurturing for your business and try to be higher. So if you're working as a salesperson or a delivery guy, I don't believe you want to stay as a delivery guy. You may want to be a supervisor, you want to be a manager, you want to be some head of the company someday, maybe the face. So don't just look at it like you're not owning a business, so you're not going to make the money other persons make, but see it as a business you're doing still. When you get up and you put aside your profits from your pay, and you put aside your expenditures for you to go to work, and also look for the highest aspect of your life being engaged into that business. So you don't want to go up to the top. You want to be a manager, as I said, someday, a supervisor. You don't want to remain in one place. You want to see your job as a business also and work it as a business also. So thank you all for watching on my live, and I hope to see you all in the next videos, and I hope to see you all subscribing and actually following my channel. So as I said, you can find me all about. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform. I'm going to be actually there, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of my experience with you all, and you all is going to be, I hope that is going to be something that is going to inspire a lot of persons. And as you're going to be inspired, one day you may share your same experience. You may start a YouTube channel also, and I want to be the first person that's going to be able to subscribe to that and actually like and share a comment. So if you're doing the same for me here, I would like for you to do this. I will do the same for you also. So thank you all, and see you all in the next live coming up soon.